It's been 3.
That's great.
Yeah. Been really busy lately, so my points gathering has really tapered off. I've noticed some other things have fallen by the wayside, but that whatever.
Yeah.
All the success is just a bump.
But what's the downside of all that success? Anybody?
Yes,
You
Exactly. That's what keeps nagging me.
And guess what? You wake up and you're out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't stop us. Yes, Terry.
And I was like, oh, roll, that's great. You know, so now we're gonna have wait a minute. I'm ready to do the
I find something.
Yeah.
I happened to be with Danny
Yeah.
for a second. I was like, oh, hey, hold on. Well, I just
I
would
would
enjoy
do everything.
everything here because the reason that my team is ahead is because of her.
Whoa.
We were dwindling back, fighting over the top score with all the other teams too. And then she sent me an email with the points in it last Tuesday. Holy cow.
It's not
And Amanda,
430.
I haven't sent you any of my points. I've got so many points. So, but you held us over, so I'm not gonna worry about it. You pulled it up.
And then the losing team is Billy's team. Your team thinks a lot. And the highest bidder is open houses, show clients, offers written, and those are not your offers.
It's really kind of a 2-person team if you're looking at the people on it. I mean,
Well, that's true. Don't make excuses.
That's
for us.
right.
just saying, you guys are doing
That's true.
fantastic.
Hey, very good observation.
True.
Some happen to John.
Well, I just,
Oh, John's-
yeah, he's
John, he's
super
not.
busy.
John's busy. He's not.
Okay, John's busy, and
And James
I'm sure if you
is
tallied his
departed.
points, CG is
James
like,
is
Yeah.
departed.
What do you mean James departed? Where's James?
Wait, James is gone?
no,
Oh,
No?
oh, okay.
I lied. I'm sorry. Mary.
Really?
Oh, no, that's okay. What happened to
We're
James?
gonna start over. We'll have session number 3 coming up. And bring a business card to session 3. It won't be next Tuesday, maybe Tuesday after. What am I missing? You looking like it?
Did you team up with last before?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Billy was right. They lost. Long before Billy. When I was running, I did lost before. So that means that our team, Billy, has to feed these people or do something nice for them. And that would be not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. We'll have to collaborate on
If you need like a jar of cherries or something.
that.
this is second time my team lost.
You were ahead for several too.
just, I won't be on your team. That's all I know now.
Okay, so
You should.
bring your
Right, yeah.
We'll start all over. You'll have a chance to be winners again. Okay, here's the burning question of the day. How often do you think about risk management in your real estate career, starting with Amanda? How often do you think, okay, what'd you say?
Daily.
Daily, Carl.
Oh, often. It's almost pessimistic where I go, where after a conversation I go, okay, how is that gonna affect me? It won't, we're good. Didn't say something stupid.
Robin.
Every time I deal with anyone.
Okay. Gary.
I agree with her. Sometimes I go back and go, did I say that?
Wow.
I have said that.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
We all have those moments.
Every Thursday.
We are high.
1:30.
Really, it's kind of inhibiting because I try to think about it before I say something stupid because I'm very prone to say something stupid, as everybody can remember from last trenches. So it bites me in the butt. Every conversation, every single conversation.
Yeah, it is inhibiting. Tiani?
All the time.
Aaron?
Every conversation, I find myself using a lot of weasel words.
There you go.
Just that may be the case. Just not confirming or denying anything.
Lawyer.
I must just be a leaf in the wind to most people listening to me.
Typically is my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Typically.
Typically.
Your mileage may vary. That's one that I've come up with
Which one
lately.
is that?
Your mileage may vary.
Your mileage
It may
vary.
appear
Cliche.
blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
What I've
And
heard,
in my opinion, and I'm not an attorney, and this may
Mhm.
not be construed as legal advice. Yes.
100% of the time except now.
Billy, did you have a comment?
no, just that, you know, or I've heard, from what I've heard.
Oh, what, yeah, right. At the end of the day, and I try to go to sleep and I lay there and all of a sudden I'm thinking of everything I said and did. And let me tell you what, oh my God, I need to get to sleep. Stop thinking about it, It's like at the end of the day.
It can kind of paralyze you a little bit. And it
Yeah.
shouldn't paralyze you, but the fact that you think about it constantly will save you. Yeah, those who don't think about it are gonna bite the dust. My answer to the question is every hour. Every hour I think about risk management. So let's move on now to our presentation. And the game plan today is we've got a topic and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna add things, or 5 points under each of those topics. So it's a pressure course on everything we need to do for risk management. So identify representation. What does that mean? Please just shout it out or write it down. What does identified representation mean to you guys? ARAC, write ARAC down. Do you ARAC at an open house? No.
More information.
I include it with my kids
Yeah,
as a
exactly. We hand
document,
them out.
but I don't make them sign it.
We hand ARACs out in our little kits.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's very, very smart here. So ARAC would be identifying representation. What else would be identifying representation? All right, a buyer representation agreement. Amanda's at the top of the her team one. Buyer rep agreement. A listing agreement identifies who you work for.
Termination agreement.
Oh, termination.
Yeah.
And termination agreement when you fire somebody. Any others, identify representation. How about waiver of right to be represented? Yeah, everybody kind of does this a little differently. Our goal at our buyer interview, how many people are doing buyer interviews these days? Raise your hand super high. Yes, Terry, good job. Aaron, why aren't you doing,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
you're right.
Yes, I am. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, when we have our buyer meeting, our interview, we call it the interview, we have them sign, of course, in ARAC. We also have them sign the waiver of right to be represented at that same time. And the way we discuss that with them is, in the event we list a property that meet your parameters, we want to be sure that you're comfortable to show you the property. Our seller client has already given us written permission to be neutral. And neutral means that we can't give away our seller's secrets. And Mr. Buyer, we can't give away your secrets to the seller. But, Mr. Buyer, we will tell you everything we know about the house, good, bad, or indifferent. And we'd like you to go ahead and authorize this today if you don't mind, so that we feel comfortable showing you our own listings. And we just never have trouble getting that signed. But you don't have to have that signed up front. It's just something we try to do so that our package is complete. Any other thoughts on identified representation? Okay. Yes, sir.
So with that, I'm just trying to understand what we're looking for. So like not listing the brokerage on as you do, is that the same thing or am I off?
I would agree. If you are running a Facebook ad or any kind of ads, or a Craigslist, you have to mention Jack White Real Estate. You cannot appear to not be affiliated with a brokerage. That's a big deal. That's a great, thank you for mentioning that, Carl. That's something that I think we sometimes forget to do. Yes, ma'am.
My question is about signage, because driving around town as much as I do, I noticed that a lot of the, I don't want to say big teams, but some of the teams around town, their signage makes it look like they're their own brokerage. You know, and then you've got their logo, down there.
Exactly.
Microscopically.
Yeah.
That's not legal, is it?
I think I don't know, Amanda. I really don't know. I know you have to mention the brokerage, but how big that is, I don't have an answer to that. That's a good question.
Good weasel words. Well done.
What'd I do?
You said, I don't know, we'll have to look into it.
Good question.
Good question.
Dodge the bullet. Thank you. Okay, not over-promising. What does that mean to anybody? Not over-promising. Oh my goodness. that's a-
I guarantee,
Oh, yes.
That's all greened out, nobody's ever gonna.
Thank you, that was exactly what was on my mind. You can never, ever promise that there's a green belt that will be there forever.
That, they're gonna take that trailer park right out of there.
Yeah, don't even
That's going
think
away.
about talking about this.
this thing will be twice the value in 10 years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All
Right
over
in-
promising.
So predicting the future so far.
Yeah, predicting the
And then-
future.
And then one that came to my mind just now was, well, that's not water damage.
Yeah.
Or that is water damage.
We're not.
Yeah,
That's a
so,
scope of expertise.
Okay, what about, this bit us several years ago with one of my most favorite ever assistants, who doesn't work with me anymore, but he was with me 11 and a half years. I brag about him all the time. But this happened because he was the kind of person, he had a bit of a hero complex, and he was a kind individual, and he wanted to make our buyer client feel comfortable. So he promised, oh my God, he promised that the sale would close on such and such a day, 5 days later. In other words, okay, I know you're upset, it didn't close, but it will close now in 5 days. It didn't close in 5 days. Why? Because we're not in control of closings. You cannot promise something you have no control over, for crying out loud. Never. And we have a client right now. When can I do my walkthrough? And we probably told her in 7 emails. I don't even talk with her anymore. Yeah. You know, we're just not don't ever promise something you can't control. Have that person call the person who has more control than you do. So don't overpromise other people's performances. What would be other overpromising? Yeah, overpromising would be, I know your home will sell for X number of dollars. Of course you don't know that. Yeah, you don't know that. Gather statistics from MLS and say, well, in this price range in your neighborhood, the average market time is, here are the stats to prove it. And here is the information to prove that your marketing price range should probably be between 280 and 300. Where would you like to start?
Another one I'm really worried about is misquoting. Misquoting, like whether it's price or saying, if I didn't have my understanding of what somebody said, like, oh yes, early occupancy shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I even used the weasel word shouldn't, but, oh yeah, they're fine with early occupancy.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. That's just the end of the story about the overpromising on my team, and the transaction didn't close that buyer fired us. He was so upset, the family was so upset that they fired us and didn't buy the house because it didn't close until 5 days later. I didn't fire my assistant, but I should have. He hopefully learned. So we lost that commission check. I'm trying to think of any other overpromising issues. I mean, you just can't promise, you can't promise the title's gonna be clear, you can't promise the loan's gonna be paid, you just can't promise. All you can promise is that you're there to help them. I promise you that we are here to help you make the best possible decision that we know that you could make. Okay, timely communication. Oh, I'm all over our team on this. You don't just, okay, so you promised a disclosure package to a prospect. And you get a phone call and they want a disclosure package. And it takes you a couple hours to send the disclosure package because you're really busy, but you eventually send it. My point is that prospect in that 2-hour period could have called another realtor, might have called Amanda, because they didn't hear from you for 2 hours and they thought you abandoned them. And you just, we are in an age of instant gratification. So our team mantra is gather the information and call that person and say, by the way, in 30 minutes or 1 hour, I will send you that information and I'll call you when I've sent it. We were, a buyer, a very, very qualified buyer client was referred to us recently. And the sad thing is that buyer was actually working with another one of our Jack White people. This particular buyer client fired this very nice Jack White realtor because that realtor had gone on tour and had seen the email communication of the list of 5 homes the buyer client wanted to look at. He was on tour, didn't check his emails. When he finally got back to her, she fired him. She said, I want to look at these houses today. You didn't call me back. You didn't respond. And she fired him, and we were handed that referral from the owner. Have on contract today. The point is, stay in touch with people. You can't talk to people too much. You can't, you can text them, you can make a phone call, but don't just assume that because you sent an email, they saw it. Any concerns about that? Have you had that problem before? Do you know what I'm talking? I'm always telling my team, okay, so you sent the email out there. Did you call them and tell them you sent it? Huge, huge. Stay in touch with people. They want to hear your voice, or at least a text. Points?
So, previous clients, staying in touch with them. Once again, once every 6 months. Birthday card.
Well, there's 1,000 ways to stay in touch. One would be a birthday card. One is a closing card. Congratulations, you've owned your home for a year now. Who do you know? Who do you know? We had this conversation. I learned this from a trainer. I'll get back to your question. When you go knock on the door or you see somebody in the grocery line, when you say, do you know somebody who might be in the business in the market to buy or sell homes? Do you know anyone in the market to sell or buy? It's just so easy to say no. But if you say to them, we just had this conversation, who do you know who might be in the market to sell or buy a home? Now you've asked them to think. They could say, well, nobody. But you ask them to engage their brain to think who they might know, which is different than saying, do you know anybody? No, I don't know anybody. Well, who do you know? That subtle difference, and I didn't invent it. I learned from a trainer. And I think it works better. Okay, back to Terry's question. So you closed a transaction. How often to stay in touch with these people? Well, I would say, Terry, within a month of the closing, you should call and ask how things are going. Mm-hmm. Are you enjoying your new home? Are there any problems? We hope there is. Which reminds me, I'm going to tell you a story about home warranties. Just a minute. Holy cow. Good stories all the time. So the first month, and then probably 3 months later, and then probably 6 months later, and then a year. And I would stay in touch with those people probably every 6 months with a phone call or a note. And with nothing, it doesn't have to be anything more than, I was thinking about you. They love that, don't they? How are things going with your new home? How's the family? How's the dog? How's the cat? And who do you know who might be in the market to sell or buy real estate? Easy script. And the thing is, you don't want to call the people that you just sold a house to and say, are you ready to buy another house? Of course not. That's ridiculous. But if you ask about the family and how things are going and who do you know, that's a perfectly legitimate call to make, and they will appreciate it. Yes?
And Gina once taught us something that I find myself using all the time. You forward people, forward, F-O-R-D. You ask them about their family, for their occupation, for their recreation, for their dreams, or what their plans are in the future.
That's it. F-O-R-D, family, occupation, recreation,
and dreams.
and dreams. That's great, Amanda. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you listen close enough, there's a few other people out there in the world I've been forwarded.
Anything else about type of communication? If you say you're going to send something or make a phone call, do it. I tend to say I'll get back with you today or tomorrow at the latest. So I have bought myself a little time if I can't respond right away. But I'll tell you what, and then the other day somebody asked me for some information about a property, and I said, oh, I'll get back with you today or tomorrow at the latest, because I knew it wasn't a sense of urgency. I was actually able to send the information that day, so I was ahead of the game. But if I hadn't, for sure I would have done it the next day. So be careful what you say. You've got to be able to do it. And don't, well, I'll get that to you next week. In our real estate business, is next week soon enough? No. Well, it could be sold, or next week they've run into, 3 other girls have run into a man in the shopping line and asked her about the house because they hadn't heard from you, and she's gonna get back to you probably in 15 minutes from her iPhone. So a week is too late. Okay, proper documentation. We're still talking about risk management. Okay, let's talk about my warranty situation. This falls under proper documentation. Oh, yes. Okay, so I sold a Ridgecrest on Ridge Park, thank you, Ridge Park condo over there in Lower Hillside to a nice engineer 3 years ago. And he's one of these, he's like a fan. He's like somebody that really appreciates our team and what we do. Wouldn't work with anybody else. And basically, to his credit, even though he drives you a little crazy with minutia, he does everything you ask him to do.
He's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer. Thank you.
He's an engineer. That fits that personality type.
Yeah. So when 3 years goes by, and his wife wants to move back to Texas, and our engineer plans to continue to commute up on the slope. And so he said, "Can you sell my house? Do I have enough equity?" Yes, 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 of course. And I suggested he buy a warranty. I always offer, speaking of risk management, do we always offer a warranty to our buyers and our sellers? Every single time.
Yeah.
And what if they don't want it? What do you do?
I usually, I haven't had anyone not get one.
There you go.
So I haven't had the
If
problem
they said
yet.
no, what would you do?
Yeah, they'd waive the home inspection.
You have to
Or, I'm
have-
sorry, the HSA.
The warranty,
Yeah.
and they have to sign it.
Mhm.
Now, if I take a listing and they waive the warranty, they sign that as well. And sometimes we put the waived warranty in the disclosure package so that the buyer doesn't start asking necessarily for a warranty. The seller already said no, it just helps control the situation. Terry, do you always recommend the warranty sellers or buyers? Okay.
Yeah, so you encourage all your buyers to ask for it if the seller hasn't provided it? Is that what you're
It
saying?
depends. And that's an excellent question. What we tell our buyers is if you make the seller a really good offer, maybe we can get the seller to buy you a home warranty. Oh, that's great. Now, if you're gonna nickel and dime the seller, probably not ask the seller to do that, but you should consider buying one for yourself. And if you don't wanna buy one, that's okay. We still want your business, but we will have you sign a waiver. It's the most amazing word to use. When they think that they have to sign a waiver, all of a sudden, the warranty looks real interesting to them.
Well, it must be serious if you're asking them to waive, officially waive in writing their option.
Right, exactly. And this is tricky. A buyer will say, well, gosh, could I think about it? You bet, absolutely, I want you to think about it, but offer right now. So let's go ahead and waive it today. If you want the warranty, you tell us before closing, but you have to understand, you have to tell us we're not going to remind you again. So what we do in our purchase offers, if there is a warranty or if there isn't a warranty, if they've waived the warranty, it's the last page of our contracts, of our offers. Our warranties are, yes, I want a warranty is the last, and a waived warranty is also the last page. And that is serious risk management, because nobody could ever say, well, you never told me about the warranty. Well, yes, we certainly did. You signed, that it was waived, it's the last page of your purchase offer. Okay, that's, we don't want to be buying warranties or having somebody issue their findings for them. So it goes back. What is that? Oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking of that one. Well, anyway, that's another warranty situation. So we put this home in the market, we got a buyer right away. I trusted my seller, he did a disclosure. Moved to Texas, the closing occurred a week ago, and all of a sudden, I hear from the selling realtor that there is a water leak down into the crawl space. The leak has gotten mold on some of the walls. And I have pictures, they sent me pictures, and they're talking about thousands of dollars worth of damage, and they believe that Mr. Engineer Seller may not have disclosed a former plumbing leak in his disclosure. So they called the the warranty people, because my seller provided them with warranty. And typically, the plumbing company that is the first person in line for the warranty people is Discount Mechanical. I think they do a perfectly okay job. So they call Discount Mechanical. Discount Mechanical runs over there, and in order to fix the leak, they have to take a full wall out. This leak is a long time, a small pinhole leak. There's mold now built up in the walls. And the Discount Mechanical guy said to the buyer on site, "I've seen this before." The buyer, the hysterical buyer, heard him say, "I've been here before, we've dealt with this problem before." So now, it looks like he did something. So we get a hold of the warranty people and ask them for all their records, if they've been there before and they had none. We call Discount Mechanical and ask who said that and learn that that isn't exactly what he said. And they had never, ever been to the property before. So we wiggled out of that, and we should have wiggled out of that because the seller didn't do anything wrong. But the warranty helped, and all the documentation helped. And warranties help save your backside. And then we have Diamond. Tell us about Diamond. This is one of Billy's clients, that's why it was more difficult. No.
Transaction went through no problem. They loved it. The client decided to waive the warranty. About 3 weeks after moving in, the refrigerator didn't close right. And he noticed that something was wrong with the washer, and he noticed that something was wrong with the furnace that he tried to say was a result of the inspection. Now, just all these little things that would have all been covered in the warranty.
Yeah, and so, we weren't mean about it, but we just said the warranty wouldn't cover it, and we waived that opportunity. It's actually in the purchase and sale agreement, last page. He basically stopped whining, moved on. Okay, back to proper document. Oh, Terry, I'm sorry, I didn't really answer your question. Do you remember what it was? Sorry.
Oh, I think you did, standing touch with.
Okay.
There is the client management system that you already actually paid for through Jack, right? You can upload all your contacts into it and schedule it to send off a birthday card on your birthday. And 4th of July cards to your sphere on 5th of July. And Halloween cards on Halloween, and everything runs through the December you can imagine. And that's a great way to stay in contact with you.
Website,
Mary, just talk to Mary. One of the.
More so than Mary might even look to Vivian.
okay.
Maybe she might know something about it. It was already specialty sold where it had to walk to Vivian's home.
But that's it, Amanda's right, you're all paying for that, so
Yeah.
don't underestimate them.
That would be nice to let you know, then you could actually sign it, maybe just.
Right?
Thanks, Amanda, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, proper documentation, does anything fly in real estate that's verbal, is there anything verbal? No, heavens no. So it's funny, I did a quick by deed Sunday, I was working, and a realtor with another company came in, he's an experienced realtor, and I don't know why but he's been around the block. He just laid out, he said, Kathy, can I ask you a question? And he says to his wife, I mean, he's approaching, but anyway, he said something, well, my seller said he would fix something, and now he won't fix it. So what do I do about that? I said, well, was anything in writing? No. I said, well, here's what I would do then. I would put an amendment together that says, parties acknowledge the seller has opted not to fix such and such and so and so, and get everyone to sign it. I mean, how simple is that? But you don't want any in real estate, nothing. In fact, the company used to call Greg Oscus, who was the company attorney, and on occasion, I would have to call Greg for a question, and he was just as mean and rough as possible. You know, Greg.
He's still that way, yeah.
was mean. I think he hated realtors. He hated our stupidity, I think. And so you'd call Greg, hey, Greg, I have a question. And he said, is it in writing? Well, no, we haven't gotten it. Then don't talk to me. Get it in writing, then you can call me. We weren't even ready to get it in writing, but he won't even put his time in writing. He doesn't want to talk to you. Okay, contract deadlines. What are the deadlines you need to pay attention to? Give us one deadline that's a big. They're all a big deal, but
Yeah.
which one would you say? Give us one.
Recording date,
A recording date, big deal.
big deal.
Tiani.
Huge deal.
Resale certificate.
Yes. Yes. We typically, in our contracts, actually have a clause, your boilerplate purchase and sale agreement speaks to receipt of a resale certificate, but I don't think it speaks to the timeline to get it. And so we typically build into our offers that the seller is to provide a resale certificate within 12 days of contract effective date. So there is something that we can track. A deadline.
Deadline to respond.
Absolutely, deadline to respond to a counter offer or a purchase offer. Now, if you can't meet the deadline, then what should you do? If you physically can't meet the deadline, what do? Well, you ask for an extension
Call.
of the time. Call the other realtor, ask if there can be more time. Terry, what's some of the deadlines? Repair deadlines. To have them done or what?
Okay, resale, record, response, repair.
Exactly.
Start with
There's all,
ours.
your inspection deadlines are very serious deadlines. What happens if you represent a buyer, Carl, and the buyer, you represent a buyer, and the buyer was to get an inspection done and send a repair amendment and copies of the inspection report to the seller, and the deadline is missed. What happens then?
They're presumed to accept the property as is.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that property would be, your buyer lost his opportunity for inspections and repairs. Not good. What are some other deadlines, Robin?
Mine was to be in agreement on the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the newest deadline in our newer purchase and sale agreements? Tiani, you know, but don't say. What? No, that's not in our purchase and sale agreements.
The,
Latest.
Oh, the 3 days.
by or as required by later, what the hell are you?
Read the final escrow,
As built is what I was thinking, thank you.
There would be some deadlines for as-built or not, but the purchase and sale agreement has been recently amended to include another deadline that heretofore wasn't there. Tiani, what is that? It's the deadline for receipt of the preliminary title commitment.
Yeah.
That's new in the purchase and sale agreements, don't miss it. If you miss that, and I mean, it's kind of like, oh, okay, right, okay. If you miss it, if you're in default, the parties are in default, they can back out, or this money's at risk. So take that seriously.
And just FYI, that's another reason why you don't want to sit on your purchase and sale contracts. You want your title opened as soon as you have an accepted PSA.
Absolutely. Good advice for me too.
What was that deadline for receipt of?
It's built, you build it in, you build it in, yes, yeah. There's a blank now in our purchase and sale agreements. Contract deadlines are big deals. And if you miss a deadline, it's not your client's fault. They're not gonna say, oh, I'm so sorry, Kathy. I didn't know that, I forgot it, and they'll blame us. Yeah, they'll blame us. So Carl recently developed a spreadsheet, so our deadline is fully tracked, but I think we get some kind of a
There's conditional formatting, so we have the dates in there, and but today is 5 days, if the cell lights up. If it's today or tomorrow, so we check it every morning and say, these ones are red, that could be a problem.
Go to work.
Yeah, you can't have him, he belongs to our team.
That's
He's our
proprietary.
He's our local genius. Okay, but anyway, each one of you can take your calendars and post these deadlines to your calendars and check accountability. day. I highly recommend it. I mean, frankly, for years and years and years, I would take a hard copy calendar and I would handwrite all those headlines on my calendar. And I slept well at night because it was all there. I could see it every single day.
You can build ticklers, and if you're not, if you're not Excel literate, like some of us, you can build ticklers into your Microsoft Outlook for those things. I do that regularly, especially on my commercial transactions where there's specific performance due by certain dates. I go in and I enter follow-up dates on my Outlook because it triggers me a day in advance.
Wow. By the way, Tiana's here every time to support us. Are you all giving Alyeska for business?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. All right, next, don't be an expert. Okay, I have a great story about that. Several years ago, a young lady came to work at Vista Real Estate then. A very attractive young lady, very ambitious. And then she changed her business. She changed companies. She went to another company. I don't remember which one it was. She'd been in the business, I'm going to say 3 months, and she started running a big newspaper ad that said, call your area expert or your real estate expert. This girl didn't know how to find a bathroom, much less be a real estate expert. And she was out of business in 2 months. She got sued because she didn't know what she was doing. She overpromised. She was the expert, and she got sued because she was supposed to be the expert. Don't be an expert. There's all kinds of experts you can default to. Tiani's an expert in title. We have home inspectors that are experts. We have lenders that are experts who are not an expert. Any stories about problems with that? Okay, good. Don't work with everyone. Yes.
Not all business is good business.
Thank you. There's nothing in Real Estate 101 that says you must work with everybody you meet. My real estate broker in Houston, Texas, when we were going through the first slide of the real estate market, and we had hysterical sellers that were all underwater, who, in their mind, the only people with deep pockets were the real estate companies and the realtors. We were still getting commissions when our sellers were bringing money to the table. So we had the deep pockets. So when they got in trouble, they tried to sue us. So it's a highly dangerous time to be in the real estate business when we're the only ones making the money. So never forget that. And if you're working with someone that you sense is going to be a problem client, you don't have to work with them. Don't try to save everybody. We're not here to save people. And we've told you the horror story about the client we fired several times. We're not as good as she is because she's still not fired. We may actually get her to closing, but even if we get her to closing, I have to admit I'm worried about her. And we are at the point that we almost don't even talk with her. Everything is by communication, by written communication. Every email, I am prepared for a lawsuit. Not that, this is a huge waste of our time, but I just don't trust this lady, and I'm not sure she's rational. So we document every single conversation, and if she calls and we'll say, okay, we've had this conversation before, just put that in writing, send me an email, and we'll email you back, because I am prepared to be sued. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it does win. But next time, because it costs money, you don't want to get sued. So you don't have to work with everyone. Any stories on that?
Just sad chuckles around the room.
Right now.
I don't want to get
I've got
sued
some
either.
people, yeah. It's
Unfortunately.
people I showed Peck to,
Oh, yes.
yeah, over the weekend, yeah.
Now, the dad kind of liked it, but the son didn't.
Oh, yeah, but it was not what you'd expect. The son's just being like, no, we're not going to turn this into, your garage dream. And that's what the son wanted or son wants is a shop with a house attached or pretty much like a mother-in-law apartment. He just wants a garage. And the dad totally saw that there, but he was trying to be like, well, do you think they would take a cash offer for the land? And I'm just like, no, I do not think so. Not years. He's like, we'll try, but then we moved on from that. But it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're trying to steal everything out from everybody.
Oh, my God.
So, but they're VA buyers that are qualified too. It's really funny. People you encounter.
Reminded me of telling you probably can't fire people as easily as we can, am I right?
No, I can't. However, there are times when I have clients, licensees, attorneys, other people come to me and they want certain things that really is just outside the scope of what we do. And then I get faced with how do I diplomatically turn them away without losing their business in the future. In which case, it's a fine line, but a lot of times I thank them so much for thinking of Alyeska Title, and that I really want the best for them. And in this case, it's by not inserting Alyeska in the middle and referring them to an expert in what they really need. And then there's other times when I flat out fire someone and I just tell them that, we're not going to be able to live up to your expectations, and I wish you well.
Wow, I like that. We need to write that down, Amanda. Cannot live up to your expectations. Okay, that's good.
We're just not going, and it all boils down to, we're not going to agree on what you're looking for and how you're looking for it, and this, and personally, in all the years I've been in this business, I've learned firsthand through risk management that not all business is good business, and that's probably the first, understanding that and understanding what doing good business looks like versus what doing marginal or unethical business is. And sometimes you even know there's that gray area, and that sometimes your clients will lead you down that road before you realize it. But that is your first proactive step as a licensee in risk management, because you want to do good business. 20 years from now, you want somebody to be able to say, yeah, I know Kathy Hernandez. She's been around for 30 years. She does a great business. She does good business. You can't ask for a better recommendation than that. My dad was asking me about a licensee the other day. He heard her ads, and he's like, she was advertising this. Do you know this name? And I said, yeah, I know that name. And they were throwing out percentages that they're the top percentage selling agent in Alaska. And I said, Dad, you have to remember that you can make numbers tell anything you want. And they do a lot of business, and that's all I can say.
Do your buyer and seller clients care if you're a top producer?
No, not really.
They do not care. They don't, all they care about is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Their wants and needs, and that's okay. The notion of being a top realtor or top, it's just kind of a waste of words. Now, Erin, are you having any issues with your buyer or seller clients being able to, and you as well, dear, being able to recognize that you're not a real experienced realtor?
Oh no, they gathered that right away. especially pops.
Okay.
Yeah. But
That's a challenging situation.
it is, yeah. And then,
No,
pretty upfront
they
about
think that I've been doing this forever.
Perfect.
I just talk. I love to talk, so I talk. And that's why at the end of the day, God, what did I say?
Oh.
But they buy it hook, line, and sinker. Not a problem.
Okay.
I have not a clue what I'm talking about. No, I'm not kidding.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because Billy still deals with that. He's dealing with clients that are not buying into what Billy says. It's not that Billy talks a lot either. And I heard him on the phone. He doesn't say anything wrong, and he doesn't overpromise. But there's something about, I think, a new licensee, when you don't have that confidence or that experience, to be a competent individual, but he's being careful, doesn't want to overpromise. And so he gets pushback. Even other realtors on the phone who know he's new will be different in talking with him.
I'm going to share the one that I got the other day was I had a realtor push back pretty hard with me And, I mean, at one point it was like, are you kidding me? But he said later, and just tell Kathy in the politest terms possible, why don't you tell me in the politest terms possible? You could have told me in the politest terms possible. Now I want to be, thank you.
For the newer licensee, you know, you just gotta muddle through that.
It's like,
It is. Well, it's really kind of an interesting story. I had sold real estate here, and then I went to Texas and I sold real estate there for 15 years. Came back up here, but nobody knew me. And so when I started selling real estate, I was who does she think she is? Who is she? And I can name the realtors that treated me like you've been treated. And they don't treat me that way anymore because I survived and I'm hanging in there with them now. But it's an amazing thing. You're right.
It is. They see your license number and how
smell the blood.
new or recent it is, and they know that that you may be relatively inexperienced, so they're gonna push and they're gonna, you might try to intimidate you into terms more on their conditions than your own.
Sure.
I notice it more with real estate agents that have been around a long time. They intimidate me to no end, and they can be just so rude. They can be standing right here next to you, look at you, and then just whiz right past you and not even say hi or anything. I mean, it's unnerving. No reason for it, but it is what it is.
Bill, is you just completely ignore it. It has nothing to do with our business. This is not, what we do is not a popularity contest. We have a job to do for our clients. And you cannot take any of this personal. It has nothing to do with that.
Kathy laughed. I told her the story and she laughed. So I'm glad you can laugh about it.
I'm the messenger.
I'm learning to say I don't know with confidence and gusto.
Yeah.
And that's
what you do.
Like it works out well.
No.
It's like, I don't know. I mean, let me find that out.
Let me
Is that
find out.
working?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was in training, the instructor said a good one is that important to you? Because then you're not spending a half hour researching something and they go, oh, okay. If they ask an out question, you go,
That's great.
I don't know. Is that important to you? And they go, yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to find out. I'm going to get you in touch with them.
And that's actually a good qualifying question.
That is.
A good closing. That's excellent. Excellent. Very good. So next, it won't be next Tuesday, Tuesday after. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, guys.
And Billy and I guess have to entertain you guys. He's a good impersonator. He's impersonating realtors lately.
They've spoken with over the phone?
You better film this, because I won't be here then. I want to see this. I want this online here.
All right, thank you all. Have a great week and holiday and the whole new year. Good to be back.
How do you?
One person.
Right.
Go, go.
I